the old ladies are a bigger proposition in Italian football.
Now the old ladies are now young. Young ladies.
Inter Milan is you.
Let's contextualize this to
I think that Champions League. Inter Milan will always be a bigger position.
When you say bigger, in what context?
In Champions League
You
finals.
can't segregate. You can't segregate.
But even in the last 20 years, they've had better moments in the
They won the Champions League in 2009.
They won it in 2009. They won the Champions League in 2010 with Jose
coming in.
2010. They've been
Juventus has been to the
finals. No.
They've not won. They've not won for more than 2 decades.
How many times have they won?
More than 2 decades. They've not won the Champions League.
Juventus' last final was against Real Madrid. They lost that one. But Inter Milan in the last 5 seasons, they've been to the
finals twice and they've lost.
They've won one.
So as far as
they won one.
No, they didn't.
In the last
Man City beat them.
But let's move on. I think I'll side with Amos in talking about the fact that
is you said without
Bodø beating Inter Milan is actually a big.
It is not. It is not because see on the road to beating Inter Milan 3-1, they had beaten Man City. They had beaten Atletico. So that was even a good phase. So comparably, I can say if you lose 3-1, there's more. It is even more immune. You understand? Compared to losing 5 goals. No, I mean you
are talking about.
Hello, and it's always a pleasure to come your way with the sports discussions. This time as the UEFA Champions League review. You know that Europe's most prestigious tournament has gotten to the playoff stage. Before the round of 16, we've seen some teams qualify. England making waves as far as the round of 16 is concerned because they have 5 representatives already in the round of 16 stage. But then the playoff stage is also for teams that qualify from 9th to the 24th position. And we have some thrilling fixtures, especially for the first leg, where Galatasaray made sure that they will move to Turin with a very, very huge advantage. They won by 5 goals to 2 against Juventus over there. But then big results as well. Real Madrid traveling all the way to Portugal at the Estadio da Luz. They also managed to beat Benfica by a lone goal. Vinicius Jr. getting that goal for them. But that win also didn't come with some controversies after he also reported that he had been racially abused, something Jose Mourinho didn't really agree to. But there's more still to talk about. Atlético Madrid also drawing 3-3, all the way at Club Brugge, and then also International shockingly losing by 3 goals to 1 to Bodø Glimt. So it's just a review of the UEFA Champions League. That's the playoff round, and we'll be talking about the games extensively to see the teams that have actually got that advantage heading into the second leg. My name is Josiah. Very soon I'll be introducing my pundit to you, and we can get the discussions going. All right, so interesting games from the UEFA Champions League first leg play of games. And we have Galatasaray winning 5-2 against Juventus. Benfica losing 1-0 to Real Madrid at home. Monaco also losing to PSG. They actually took a 2-0 lead through Folarin Balogun, but then they had to concede defeat after some masterclass and some good work by PSG. Dortmund also had a signal Iduna beat Atalanta by 2 goals to 0. Then the biggest victors in the first leg in the playoff round, obviously Newcastle, led by Eddie Howe. They were in Azerbaijan. They beat Qarabağ by 6 goals to 1. You have Bodø Glimt also inflicting a 3-1 defeat on Inter Milan. Club Brugge and Atlético Madrid ended 3-3. That was a 6-goal thriller. And then Olympiacos also in Greece, they lost to Leverkusen by 2 goals to 0. Interesting results. And I'll definitely be taking the top 10 views of my panelists for today. I have Amos to my right. There's Courage to my left. Then to my extreme left is Atika Mauli Force. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Yes, interesting results. I know it's interesting. We're going to have a roundtable discussion. Which game would you say?
This is not a roundtable discussion.
Yeah, it's a square table.
Thank you.
Figuratively, we're having.
It's not even a square. It's a rectangle.
So, figuratively, we're having a roundtable discussion. I think which game actually, were you fascinated about the most?
Well, I think the what's the name? Galatasaray Juventus game. You understand? Because if you look at the pedigree of book teams, you would realize that no pundit, no analyst would ever envisage or would have envisaged the fact that Juventus would lose by such an amount of goals, and considering the fact that they were at a point in the game leading by 2-1.
Yeah.
So it just tells you the unpredictability of the Champions League. It just tells you that we don't have traditional big clubs in the Champions League no more. And you see, one thing that really interested me, or one thing that really caught my attention in that particular game, was the fact that Galatasaray had no fear. They came to the game tactically astute. They came into the game without, appreciating the fact that Juventus is a big club,
Yeah.
And I would, even though on the day the Nigerian striker, what's the name?
Victor Osimhen.
Victor Osimhen did not get a goal, but if you look at what he brought to the table as a traditional striker, he was a mouthful, you understand? And the fact that he was not just running the channels, but the fact that he was able to link up play. And that was the main reason why they were able to get the goals, because he was able to decouple the midfield. He was rather able to couple the midfield of Galatasaray. He was able to get the ball upfield. And remember that Juventus over the weekend had lost to Inter Milan by 3-2
in the Scudetto.
Yes, in the Serie A. So they came into the game with an intention to get a favorable result, and that made it possible for them to really attack. But again, it just tells you that Juventus, Galatasaray, doing well in the Turkish league is no fluke, you understand? Because that has been their main headache. They do well in the Turkish league, and when they come to the Champions League, they flop almost every single season. And that is the reason for which this season they've gone in for marquee signings. It is not to win the domestic league, because even without the signings that they've been able to do, they will still win the domestic league. It is for them to do well in the Champions League. So
I'm not interrupting, but for a team that had Leroy Sané and then Ike Gundogan on bench in a critical game against Juventus, tells you the kind of squad depth they have.
Yeah, so that is why I'm saying that the fact that they've been able to assemble this assemblement, it is not to challenge for the the Turkish league.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But to do well in the Champions
League,
because that is the intent. That is the intent, because you can't go for a Sané and be paying him £200,000, and then you're going for
Osimhen,
almost 350,000. You understand? And then Gundogan. And then your aim is to win the Turkish league, because even without these players, you are able to win the Turkish league. So it just shows you the intent. And on the day, they made a very, very vibrant statement against Juventus.
Interesting. So Galatasaray winning 5-2 against Juventus. I don't know if you would actually also say that is a win that actually puts them in the next round. Amos, you think that's a win that secures them a place in the round?
Definitely, but football is always 90 minutes. I mean, anything can happen. We've seen a lot of comebacks in league, so I don't expect Galatasaray to have it easy in the second leg. I mean, going into the second leg, Juventus this time around, they are playing at the home of Juventus, so that's also another advantage for Juventus in this particular game. So I'll say let's wait till 90 minutes, because anything can happen.
Interesting, but let's go to Portugal, where Benfica also played against Real Madrid. We saw that game a couple of days ago, exactly 3 years ago. It was a game we saw where there was a historical, dramatic ending to the game. It was Trubin, Anatoly Trubin, who scored the winner for Benfica. It was a game marked by a lot of controversies, especially with the racial abuses and all that, towards Vini Jr. But you think it was a deserved victory for Alvaro Arbeloa's men?
Oh yes, so I was expecting both sides to score in this particular game, and by the end I expected Real Madrid to win. There was no surprise, because at this moment, for Real Madrid to lose 2 consecutive games against Benfica was something that was going to put pressure on both players and then the head coach. And so heading into this particular match, I had so much confidence that even if they don't get a job done in the first leg, definitely they will get a job done in the second leg. And so for Madrid to have the first leg advantage going into the second leg this time around at the Bernabeu, they are coming to their home, it should be a moment of pride for them, because I mean, for Real Madrid, back then when we used to play the traditional four teams in it, you could see them lose in the group stages, but then when it comes to the knockout stages, I mean, they are just ruthless anyhow. I mean, this is not the time that we now see the Real Madrid that we know. I mean, Real Madrid, they are always good in knockout games, and so coming into this the second leg at Bernabeu, it's a maximum 3-point win for Real Madrid. I expect them to win in the second leg, but I expect them to win by bigger margins, like 2 or 3 goals in the second leg.
Another team that made it to the playoff round that were all surprised, utterly surprised, was the defending champions, Paris Saint-Germain. Let's not forget that last season, en route to winning it, they still had to go to the playoff phase against a Ligue 1 side. This time round, it's also against a Ligue 1 side in Monaco. Were you surprised they came from 2-0 to win that game?
Not at all, not at all. You know, this was more like country game.
It was like a French league game.
Yes, because prior to this particular game, with the two teams coming toe to toe, they had played 10 matches. PSG getting the maximum wins, 5 wins, and then 2 draws, and then 2 wins in favor of AS Monaco. So coming to the game, every statistician or any connoisseur will just stick PSG to edge out Monaco. But then the most surprising thing is Monaco began very, very, very strong. Balogun banging in brace, and then I had to take the coach to bring on Desire Drew, who came on to change the whole face of the games, also responding with a brace and then eventually winning it. Vitinha missing a penalty when his team was 2-0 down was something that. But then kudos to the PSG team. This is a team that has a lot of mentality, and then you know Achraf Hakimi, one of the players that I think we underrate so much. Going into this game, I was expecting something like maybe a 2-2 or 2-1, but then immediately PSG went down by 2-0. I knew that they would definitely score, and then if they were able to get at least a goal, and then with the fact that AS Monaco was also red carded, I think also.
You think the red card also played
yes,
a role?
yes. They had an impact on the game. So PSG were man advantage. So that's and then we also, you know, this is actually the favorite part of the tournament that PSG enjoys the most, because if
round.
Yes, because do you remember last season what happened?
Yeah.
They beat the best team in the competition.
They even defeated
Yes,
Arsenal.
yes, they beat Liverpool in this particular round.
Yeah.
That's when they started gaining momentum, even advancing to all the way to winning the Champions League. So this is their favorite phase of the tournament. So I wasn't surprised at all seeing them edge out AS Monaco, and then the return leg will be cagey though, but then Monaco will be missing their talisman, and then you know injuries also played a part of this game. It would have been more entertaining, or I think Monaco would have kept on with that 2-goal margin on at least managed to win if they had all their players available.
I think that was what
yes, because one Salisu, first team player, first 11, Ansu Fati, Paul Pogba, and the likes. You know, all these players are very, very crucial players, and then they play a very, very huge role in the success of AS Monaco. So them being sidelined, and then PSG getting a man advantage also in the game, the lack of discipline on the part of Monaco. So I think it was something that we all thought would happen, and then it happened. So kudos to PSG for at least managing a win in the first round. So we see what happens in the second leg encounter.
Interesting. But let's talk about the game that produced the most goals in this round for us. 6-1 Newcastle against Qarabağ. You know, yeah, it would have been a different story if Newcastle were playing at the St. James Park. This time it was away from home. And they came up against a team that had beaten Benfica, Frankfurt, they've held Chelsea. This is a team that many thought, they could have given Newcastle a run for their money. But yeah, a win for Newcastle was inevitable, perhaps. But were you surprised at the scoreline?
I would say I wasn't. You know, the reason why I wasn't is the fact that everybody did expect Qarabağ to put up a very, very good show. You understand? Now, considering the fact that they've been able to do very well against traditional big teams. You understand? I mean, in this phase of the Champions League. But if you look at Newcastle, on a very good day, they play very well. Yeah. Do you understand? And they've got a coach who understands and appreciates the game in a certain way that you know, I liken Eddie Howe to Pep Guardiola.
Wow.
That's a very bold statement.
No. see, if you look at Eddie Howe, he's a coach who attacks relentlessly. Do you understand me? Under no circumstance will you see Eddie Howe cower in the defensive shape. That is one thing that tells you that if they meet a team that do not have the attacking threat that most of the teams in the English Premier League do have, then they go gun blazing. And if a team goes gun blazing and they have the quality of Anthony Gordon, they have the quality that they have in that squad, the least you should expect is goals. You understand? So I wasn't really surprised because Newcastle on a day. What surprised me was the fact that in the first half they've gotten 5 goals.
Yeah,
that I would say was surprising. You understand? But the total amount of the goals at the end of 90 minutes was not surprising because if Galatasaray could get 5 past Juventus, then who is Qarabağ to not concede 6 against Juventus? Against Newcastle. So to that end, I am not surprised about the scores. But you see, it also tells you that they were very keen on getting the job done because over the weekend, the coming weekend, they have a game against Manchester City. So they needed to get a job done as early as possible to maintain a lot of energy going into that game. Because I can tell you for the fact that doing very well in the league is more of a priority compared to the Champions League because they know that they are not going to go far in the Champions League. And remember also that they are not doing very well in the league. They understand? And they need points to go up the table. So keeping their energy and then going up against Man City over the weekend, to me, is more of a priority than the Qarabağ game.
Interesting. But let's also talk about Inter Milan. Last season, finalists. This season, they could even qualify automatically. Now, they are playing in a playoff round, which means that they have to win to make it to the round of 16. 3-1 defeat on the road at Bodø Glimt. Another shocking result, perhaps.
So for the 3rd consecutive time, Bodø Glimt have trashed. Let me know his defeat. Trashed a big team in Europe. First it was Manchester City. The next were Atlético Madrid, and now Inter Milan. I mean, back some few seasons ago, back in the Europa League, Bodø Glimt, they were also doing the same thing during the Europa League. I mean, I remember AS Roma they were just destroying them like that. But
not to cut you, that season they beat AS Roma, beat Tottenham, home and away.
They were just trashing. Look, I shouldn't. You don't even have to call this one a defeat. It's a trash. I mean, you can't allow a team like Bodø Glimt.
Show respect to Bodø Glimt, please.
No, with all
they've been consistent.
with all due respect.
Yes,
all due respect.
Yes,
I mean,
that's fine.
When you put it on paper, Bodø Glimt and Inter Milan. I mean,
mismatch.
It's a big mismatch. But for you, 3-1. Look at the scores. 3-1. Not even 1-0. 3-1. You beat Manchester City 3-1. Atletico Madrid 2-1.
Away from home.
Yeah. And this, I mean, for this particular one against, so it was Manchester City and Inter Milan. They were at home.
Back to back.
I mean, you can't just allow this certain to happen. But I think this should be a big booster for Bodø Glimt heading into the second leg. If they should continue playing this kind of, I mean, definitely Inter Milan is going to change their style of play when they go.
Even the 1 goal deficit in the return leg qualifies them.
And even this time around, we are not using those away.
But it will still be a crucial game.
Yes, it's going to be there's going to be that much pressure on Inter Milan to deliver. I mean, in this particular game, there's going to be, because the fact that Inter Milan is leading in the Serie A doesn't mean that they can just drop points in the Champions League. I mean, you are Inter Milan for a reason, and so you don't expect Inter Milan to be losing a game against Bodø Glimt. Much respect to Bodø Glimt, but for you to lose 3-1 away from home.
Should we agree that that's actually the most shocking result of the round?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's one of the.
I don't think that is the most shocking. The most shocking result is the Galatasaray game.
Against 10 man, you wouldn't say that's shocking
for Galatasaray. You see, the old ladies are a bigger proposition in Italian football.
Now the old ladies are now young.
Inter Milan is you.
Let's contextualize this to
I think that Champions League, Inter Milan will always be a bigger position.
When you say bigger, in what context?
In Champions League
finals,
wins. You can't segregate. You can't segregate.
But even in the last 20 years, they've had better moments in the
UEFA. They won a Champions League in 2009.
They won it in 2009.
They won the Champions League
in 2010 with Jose Mourinho. 2010. They've been
Juventus has been to the
finals. No.
They've not won. They've not won for more than 2 decades.
How many times have they won?
More than 2 decades. They've not won the Champions League.
Juventus' last final was against Real Madrid. They lost that one. But Inter Milan in the last 5 seasons, they've been to the
finals twice, and they've lost.
They've won one.
So as far as
they won one.
No, they didn't.
In the last
Man City beat them.
Let's move on.
No. How many years did you mention?
In the last
They lost against
20 years. Inter Milan.
Yeah, no, we are talking about Juventus. They've not won any.
No.
You're talking about Inter Milan.
Inter Milan won it in
But Inter Milan
2010.
was in
That
one
was 2010. Yes. No,
In the last
in the last
20
20
years.
years.
you were saying that in the last 2
Yeah,
years
that's what I'm
they've been to the
surprised.
final twice.
Yeah.
And they've lost.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
In the last 5 years.
Inter Milan.
Yes.
In the last 5 years.
Yeah, but Juventus haven't gone that far. So
No.
at least I think I'll side with Amos
Yes,
if
definitely.
we talk about the fact that
That is you said without no said.
Bodø beating
Yes.
Inter Milan is actually a big.
That's
the most shocking.
see, I mean,
It is not.
for Juventus,
It is not. It is not because see, on the road to beating Inter Milan 3-1, they had beaten Man City, they had beaten Atletico. So that
was even a good phase.
So
That was even a good phase.
comparably, I can say if you lose 3-1, there's more. It is even more immune. You understand? Compared to losing five goals. No, I mean you
That's what we are talking about. That's what
you have to understand.
Now, 3-3, Club Brugge holding Atlético Madrid. Let me quickly take your thoughts.
one of the best games I watched. No, actually the best game of this particular phase.
You think it's that game?
Yes, because Club Brugge even deserve more because they were the better team. We watched the game just a few minutes ago. They were the better team. I think they went down and then came back. Like it was a very, very nice game. El Cholo and his guys. I think maybe I cannot say they've lost mojo, but then there's something missing in their game. They need to sit down and then analyze their overall game and then reshape because things are not looking quite well for them. Yes, El Cholo with the amount of money he's taking 34 million euros per year, and then this is the kind of performance he give Atletico Madrid. I'm not competing in the championship, in the La Liga, and also competing in the UEFA Champions League. So what are you there actually doing? You have a player worth 130 million, a striker. Yes, you have a striker worth 130 million in your foots, and then you have a lot of players at your disposal to be able to compete against the big guys, but then he's not doing that. Club Brugge really played well. If football was to be fair, like Club Brugge should be the one carrying the day today, but then football happens. They went up by 2 goals margin and then they still managed to draw this game. I'm disappointed in Atletico Madrid because they are the bigger club here as compared to Club Brugge in terms of Champions League history. So you want to cast me shots.
Okay, so that's it. The roundup of the first leg games played in the playoff round. But I don't know. It's a split decision as to which game you would name as the best game or the most shocking result actually in the round. 8 games played, for me, it would always be Bodø Glimt beating Inter Milan by 3-1. Yeah, Galatasaray trashing Juventus is still, 9th and all that. But then Bodø Glimt, I doubt they've ever recorded such, a win. Not in the group stages, but
three
then
consecutive matches.
Exactly. Big. I think that's it. So let's also have you say which team.
Bodø Glimt have ever even qualified from the group phase before.
I doubt
so. They are playing in a knockout stage and then they have recorded. So this might probably go away to be their best ever results in the Champions League.
Exactly. So let's hear from you. In the comment section, which game do you think actually plays it? I know it's now 2 games: Galatasaray, Juventus, and then Bodø Glimt, Inter Milan. But then let's hear from you.